What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new San Diego Comic-Con at Home 2020 exclusive Egg Attack Spider-Man by Beast Kingdom. And this figure is probably the exclusive that I was most excited to see from Beast Kingdom. I've been looking forward to this figure ever since I saw him on display at San Diego Comic-Con 2019, so I'm very happy to finally have this in hand. So huge thank you to Beast Kingdom for sending this out to me to review. I really do appreciate it, but let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the packaging. First off, you are able to see the figure right here. You can see some of the accessories that he comes with. Down here we have a shot of Spider-Man holding his camera, taking a picture. That looks really cool. Up here on the top corner we have that Comic-Con at Home sticker, and then we also have the Beast Kingdom exclusive sticker, and it tells us that this figure was limited to 2,000 pieces, and this one here is number 1,573. And then on the side of the box we get a look at Spider-Man once again. On the back of the box we get a look at a couple of different poses you could put Spider-Man in, and then down here it gives us a list of features and accessories that he comes with. And then on this side we have another shot of the figure with Spider-Man unmasked, rocking his nerdy glasses there, and that's about it for the packaging. It is completely plastic, just like the box from the Bro Thor figure, but it is collector friendly, so you are able to take the figure out and put it back in as you please. But enough about the box, let's go ahead and take a look at this figure. So here we have Spider-Man right out of the box, and this figure is looking really nice. And just like with every other Beast Kingdom Egg Attack figure, I'm really impressed by what we have going on here, and I'm having a lot of fun messing around with this figure. I like the way they did most of the soft goods. The red all looks really nice. It's like a traditional type of cloth, and then there's like an overlay kind of thing for the web design, and that looks really good. The spider logo looks good, but one thing that I'm a little concerned with is the blue areas, because for the blue they didn't use like traditional cloth. They use this other stuff. I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's like, it kind of feels like plastic, you know, and I'm kind of worried that it might flake over time, or that there might get like creases when I'm messing around with the figure. So that's something that always concerns me with this type of material. But I have been messing around with the figure a lot, and I haven't seen any signs of like damage, so that's a good thing. But I do honestly wish that they just used traditional cloth. I think it would have made it easier to pose the figure around, and it would have been more comfortable to mess with him. But still, I do love the way this looks, and overall it's like a perfect looking comic book Spider-Man. And this is a rare case where the unmasked head was packed in on the body, so that's kind of different, you know. But yeah, I just love the way this figure looks, and man, I'm just really happy to finally have this guy. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at some of the details. Starting off with the unmasked Peter Parker head, and I think they did a good job with this. It definitely has a Peter Parker type expression. It looks like he's about to say something like a smartass. So I think this came out really nice, and I like the way that the eyes are really reflective. As you could see, my work lights are kind of reflecting in his eyeballs there. So that's cool. And there's not a whole lot of paint going on the skin at all, but that's okay, because this figure is obviously supposed to have like an animated kind of feel to it, so it doesn't really need like realistic paint on the skin itself. The lips are painted and the eyebrows are painted, and to me that's enough. But the hair does have a little bit of shading on it. There's not a whole lot, but it's brown, and then there's some subtle like light brown thrown in there, so it does look really nice. But yeah, I think this is a good Peter Parker head sculpt and facial expression. And let me go ahead and pop on the standard Spider-Man head, because even though the Peter Parker head is cool, this right here is my favorite. This looks awesome. They did such a good job on this Spider-Man head, and what I love about it is that it's an actual cloth mask on his head. It's not like a sculpted painted head like I've seen on some other Beast Kingdom figures, but with this guy here, they went ahead and gave him an actual cloth mask to match the rest of the figure, so it doesn't clash at all, and that is super dope, and it's so well done. I like all the web lines on there. You don't have to worry about like sloppy painted web lines. Everything on here just looks really good. And at first I thought having a cloth mask was going to make the eyes kind of an issue, because like with the Gwen Stacy Egg Attack figure, my eyes were always falling off, and it's very frustrating. And I thought I was going to have that issue more so with Spider-Man, because the cloth would have been in there, but thankfully they used a super strong magnet, so you don't have to worry about the eyes falling off when you're messing around with the figure. And there's kind of like an indentation in there where the eye kind of sits, so you don't have to worry about those falling off when you're like turning his head and stuff like that. So that is really cool. And before we move on to the rest of the figure, let me go ahead and show you his alternate head. This is the alternate masked head, which looks really cool. Unfortunately, I do have a small paint imperfection on the upper lip, but you know, it's not a big deal. It doesn't stand out that crazy. I might try to touch it up, but it's going to be tough because how clean all the rest of the paint is, you know. So we'll see. But yeah, this head looks really good too, and again, it has that cloth mask and the interchangeable eyes. Let's see here. See, it's even hard to get out sometimes. I'd rather it that way than falling off all the time. But yeah, this looks really, really good too. But back to the figure. So yeah, the head, I was gonna say head sculpt, whatever you want to call this head, is awesome. And then moving on to the body here, all the web lines look really, really good. I love the red on here. I just love the way it looks. It looks so nice. And then the spider logo here on the front of his chest looks really good. All this looks very, very nice. On the back, we have the spider logo. And as I mentioned, this material does worry me a little bit, but I've been playing with this figure a lot and I haven't had any issues. So, you know, it might turn out to be okay. For me, like usually when I get a toy or an action figure, I play with it a lot right away. I'm always messing with it. I want to touch it. I want to do all kinds of stuff. And if nothing happens in that period of time, I feel like it's going to be okay. And I've been messing with this figure a lot and I haven't seen any signs of any kind of damage or flaking or creasing or anything. So I think this might be okay. I still would have preferred just traditional cloth, but at least I'm kind of comfortable messing with this and I don't feel like it's going to get damaged. But yeah, it does look good. And the stitching is hidden on the like underarm and then on the side of his body, so that's cool. We have a little bit more stitching right here, some stitching back here as well. But look at all those web lines. That all looks good. This looks good. And then down here we have the feet. The feet have some sculpted web lines on them, and so do the hands. But yeah, this is an awesome looking Spider-Man figure. I'm very happy with the way that he looks. In addition to the 3 heads, he also comes with a bunch of other really cool accessories, including multiple sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists, and then we have a set of like pinching hands. I guess that's how you could describe them. And he does come with a set of open hands. And then of course he has a set of thwip hands. And then he has one single right hand that looks kind of like a gripping hand that maybe you could use to hold on to his camera. And speaking of the camera, he is Peter Parker, freelance photographer, so he does come with a really nice looking camera. He also comes with the backpack. And then he comes with the exact same slice of pepperoni pizza that came with the Bro Thor figure. And he also comes with this little spider sense effect. And I like this a lot because we don't really see this that often with Spider-Man figures. We rarely ever see anything that shows off his spider sense power. So this is really cool. And then another thing that's awesome about this is that it's actually glow in the dark. And he comes with a pair of glasses for the unmasked Peter Parker head. And he does come with 4 different sets of interchangeable eyes that you could use on both masked heads. And these things are a lot of fun because you can mix them up and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And it gives you all kinds of different display options. And taking a closer look at the accessories, starting off with the glasses, there's not a whole lot going on with these things, but they do look very nice. I like that the lenses are clear and they don't have like some weird cartoon effect on them like the recently released Hasbro Peter Parker glasses. These ones came out really nice. The only problem I have with them is that there's not a whole lot of give or a whole lot of play. The plastic is pretty stiff, so I'm a little worried that I might break these things eventually, especially if I throw them in a bag with a bunch of other accessories or something like that. I don't think they would survive that, so I'm gonna have to figure something out. But they go onto the figure itself very easily. All you have to do is get this part over the ear and they sit on there very natural looking. And yeah, I like that. So that's good stuff right there with the glasses. And as I mentioned before, this pizza is exactly the same as the one that came with Bro Thor, but it does look nice. It does kind of have like a cartoon kind of vibe to it. And then next up we have the backpack, and this backpack is really nice. I like the different color browns on there. I like that the zipper handle thing is actually painted silver. And as you can see, we have some sculpting details on the side. And yeah, this looks really good. I like this backpack a lot. And since the backpack is kind of a hard, stiff plastic, I would say that the best way to put it onto the figure is to put his arms back and then just kind of put his arms through the 2 straps and then bring it over like that. I think that's probably the best way to get that backpack on and off of the figure. And then of course he does have his camera, and the camera looks great too. There is some sculpted work on there and a little bit of paint, but not a whole lot going on, but I think it's enough for this. The strap is not removable, but it does swivel right there, so it's not like it's glued in place. So I do like that. And he does come with a couple of different web accessories. Here are the first couple. As you can see, they look like web lines coming out of the wrist. And I do like the fact that they included some webs, but I'm not a big fan of these wrist attachments. They're just clear pieces of plastic that the webs plug into and then you stick them on the wrist. And they kind of feel like they were just kind of thrown in there last minute. If they wanted to do something like this, I would have preferred if they gave them actual you know, web shooters with the web cartridges on them. You know, it would have made it look more purposeful and not just kind of like, you know, we got to put something in there to attach the webs. That's kind of how this comes off. So, I mean, I don't know. I think this could have been done a little bit better, but I do appreciate that there is a way to put the webs onto the figure to make it look like he's shooting him out of his wrist though. So that's definitely cool. I just feel like it could have been handled a little bit better. And then he has this web accessory, which is pretty cool. He could hold on to it with his little pincher fingers. So I do like this. And then he does come with the same style of display stand that we see with all the Egg Attack figures. And I like these things a lot. I display all my Egg Attack figures on their stands. I just think they look nice and they don't take up too much space. And the figures look really cool on them. So as you can see, it has no problem holding onto the figure itself. It is a 3-piece setup with a base, the post, and then the clip that holds onto the figure itself. And yeah, it does a good job of displaying them and it looks really cool. As you can see, it says Spider-Man right there in front. And then there's like a Spider-Man graphic on the actual base. So that all looks really good. You could probably get him into some like swinging poses and the base will probably hold that pose for you. And another really cool feature about this figure is that he has a really strong magnet in the back, so you could stick him onto like metal surfaces and you don't have to worry about him falling off or anything. And I mean, the magnet is strong enough where you could actually throw the figure and he'll stick on there. And like I said, you don't have to worry about it falling down or anything like that. So that is a really cool feature. I'm glad that they used a really strong magnet for that. And I apologize for the echo. I'm in the middle of my kitchen showing off this part here. And for some size comparisons, we have Spider-Man alongside the Egg Attack Gwen Stacy and the San Diego Comic-Con 2020 at home Egg Attack exclusive Bro Thor, and I have a review for him on my channel right now, so you could go check that out. Next up, we have Spider-Man alongside last year's Egg Attack San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and that would be Wolverine and Cyclops. Here we have classic Spider-Man alongside the Infinity War Iron Spider and the Infinity War Captain America from Egg Attack. Here we have Spider-Man alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And then last but not least, we have the Egg Attack Spider-Man alongside the new Marvel Legends Monster Venom and the Marvel Select Lizard. And for the articulation, I think this figure has a lot of good stuff going on, but there are some limitations, especially in the legs. But aside from that, I'm having a lot of fun posing this figure around. But let's go ahead and get into it. First off, the head does move side to side, and it has a little bit of tilt to it, which is cool. And it looks like there's actually movement at the lower neck. So you get some movement there, and you have some movement where the ball joint is like inside of the actual head. So there's a lot of pretty good movement there at the head and neck area. He could look up to about right there, which is not a whole lot, but you know, you really wouldn't expect a whole lot of head movement up and down with this style of figure, but it's still decent. And then he could look down to about right there. And then for the torso, he's got a pretty nice ab crunch. Look at that. So he crunches forward a pretty good amount. And you could bring him back to about right there. So not so much going back. But then you have some side to side at the waist. And the mid-torso joint is a little tight. So not going to be able to move it too much. But you have some twist there. And just some, in general, movement, rotation. So that's cool. And then for the arms, just like Thor, he has these ratcheting butterfly shoulder joints, and I really like these things a lot because you could get the arms out in front of the figure as much as the material will allow, you know, but that's pretty good. And then you could bring him back, have him like he's gonna cock back and swing. So that's cool. And then we do have ball jointed shoulders. But because of the material, I only want to bring his arm up to about right there. And then I start to get nervous. And as you can see, it kind of pulls down on the material from the arm. So that's about as high up as you're going to get his arm. I mean, maybe a little bit more. Let's try this side. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, that one went up a little bit more. So that's cool. But again, the material is kind of restricting how far I want to go with it. But I'm still able to do pretty much what I want with it. I just can't like put his arms like way up here or anything. I mean, I guess you can, but then the material kind of starts to get pulled down right here at the wrist. That kind of sucks. I'm gonna have to figure something out for that. But yeah, some decent movement at the shoulders, but I really like these ratcheting shoulders. These are really cool. And then his arms do come out to the side. And then we have upper bicep swivel. We do have double jointed elbows, which get a nice bend. And then at the wrist, we have the double ball joint situation. So using that, you get a lot of movement all the way around. You get some swivel, you get some up and down. You got good stuff going on here at the hands. And for the legs, it's really, really limited. But you can get his legs up to about right there. So almost sitting down. And then you could bring them back to about right there. You can bring them out to the side to about right there, but then the material, you know, gets a little scary right there in between the legs, but you can get them out to the side to about right there. And then we have an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. We have a swivel at the foot, and then the foot has the same kind of joint as at the wrist. So we get some side to side, we get some up and down. We got a bunch of cool stuff going on here at the foot. And then we also have a toe hinge. So yeah, like I said, the figure does have some great articulation, but some of the material that they used kind of restrict how much you can actually push the articulation. But that's to be expected with soft goods figures. But I think if they would have used the traditional blue cloth, that wouldn't be a problem. I think we'd be able to move him as much as we want. But as is, I think we still get some pretty great movement out of it. And he's still a lot of fun to pose around and play with. And he just has a lot of attitude and stuff like that. So he's a fun figure, man. Okay, so overall, even though I don't necessarily agree with every single decision they made on this figure, I still absolutely love this thing. I think that Beast Kingdom did an incredible job with it, and it's very impressive because a costume like Spider-Man's has to be really hard to do in soft goods, especially at this scale. And we have seen other companies try it, and they've kind of been unsuccessful, but I think Beast Kingdom killed it right here, to be honest with you, and it's got to be like the best soft goods comic book Spider-Man that's out there. They did such a great job with it. The one thing I kind of wish was different was the blue material. I do wish that they went with just a traditional blue cloth. That way you could pose this figure around without having to worry about the material cracking. I don't know what this stuff is, but it does kind of make me nervous. It feels like a pleather, or maybe it's like cloth covered in some kind of material. I don't know what it is, but it makes me a little nervous. But to be fair, I have been playing with this figure a lot for the last week and a half. I've been posing it around, messing with it, just trying to handle it as much as I can, just to see if the material is going to hold up, mostly out of curiosity, you know. I just want to like push it to the limit of what I think a Beast Kingdom Egg Attack figure should be able to do as far as posability. And it's been able to do all of that without any, you know, signs of damage to the material. So, you know, I think it's going to be all right. Even though I don't trust the material, there's no signs of it damaging. So I'm very happy about that. But to be honest, I do wish that they went with just the blue traditional cloth, and then it wouldn't even be an issue whatsoever. But overall, I do think the material looks good, and I think the figure looks just great in general. Everything about it just looks amazing. I love all the accessories that he comes with, the multiple heads, the Peter Parker head, the glasses, the multiple hands, the backpack, the camera, the pizza, all that cool stuff. It comes with so many good accessories. It pretty much has everything that you'd want in a Spider-Man figure. So there's just a lot of good stuff going on here. I do like the fact that he came with some webs, even though, you know, they're not the best webs ever and they really didn't come up with a good way to attach them to the figure. At least you can do it, and at least he came with them. So, you know, they definitely get credit for that. But yeah, overall, like I said, there's a few nitpicks, a few things I don't agree with, but in general, I freaking love this thing, and it's probably going to go down as one of my favorite Beast Kingdom Egg Attack figures. This thing, they just killed it. I'm just so happy with it. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Huge thank you to Beast Kingdom for sending this over to me. It means so much to me that you would allow me to take a look at this figure early. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you want to pre-order your Spider-Man, I'll leave a link in the description below. And I'm also going to leave a link to a couple of different Beast Kingdom Facebook groups. So maybe you could go check those out, find out a little bit more about Egg Attack and Dynamic Action Heroes and all the cool Beast Kingdom lines that they have going. So be sure to check out all those links. And that's it. Thank you very much. Peace.